Chanda, so why did you want him here?
And she saw something on the internet about Zamrock.
Oh, yeah.
I think the best person to talk about this has to be a producer or a musician.
Right.
And the most decent one.
You know, it was us, me. But I'm glad I could be your second option.
Thanks to the ever lovely, ever so lovely, Esther Chungu.
So that might be the main reason I'm here. My family was Methodist. So we would sing before anything, like before eating, we were singing a song. Before praying, we were singing a song. Like we sang these Methodist songs all the time. So
Maybe it was just the family that was musical.
Hey, what's up, people? This is Magg44, aka Mr. Mando, and today you are watching the Zed101 Podcast with Tanya and Chanda and me. It's gonna be awesome. So I'm privileged, of course, to be invited by these two. How are you guys doing?
We are well. Thank you so much for inviting us.
I would switch things up sometimes.
We're very happy that you came.
Yes, no, I'm happy to be here. This is a very nice space.
Thank you.
Just everything just looks organized. You know what I mean? Yeah.
We
We're
try.
organized.
Yeah.
Organized. You're going to have a very wonderful experience here.
I hope
Not you,
so.
Kumbi.
I'm ready. I mean, just the side conversations we're having.
I mean, the camera should have been rolling 2 hours ago.
it
That's
really
the
should
problem.
It really should have.
But no, welcome.
Thank you.
Lovely
Thank
to
you.
have you join us.
Thank you for having
Yes.
me. This is amazing. This is good.
Yeah. Chanda, so why did you want him here?
First, I'm
I
going
was
to...
like, no, I wasn't. I'm joking.
I'll tell you
just
why.
kidding.
It's a good one. It's a good
I'll
one.
tell you why I wanted you here.
Right.
And then we eventually, she bought into it.
Right.
Something happened. She saw something on the internet about Zamrock.
Oh,
Yes. And I was thinking, I think the best person to talk about this has to be a producer or a musician.
Right.
And the most decent one. We had a name which I won't mention. And then, I'm coming, the usual Zambian thing. No, okay, the other week, so no, but there's another person who's done this kind of stuff and has been involved. Because I remember you had done some work with Sampa the Great.
Sampa the Great, right?
Yes,
right,
I'm
right,
like, And then there was a post that you even said, very glad to have been invited to, I think, museum something.
Right. Oh, yes. That.
So I'm like, okay, the Rock Museum or something, I don't know.
Yeah. No, that was so we did a Zamrock museum, which was done by an amazing person. Her name is Samba Yonga. She runs a company called Kuatenga Media.
Yes.
So they did at the Stanbic Festival. They did like a stand, which was like a Zamrock like museum.
Yeah.
So obviously there's everyone's story, Pongozi, the witch, everybody, Mosiotunya band, and then there was us, me, cut out of me, Sampa the Great. There was also Magg44 there. So yeah, that was something. But I'm glad I could be your second option.
No,
situation.
the better option.
The better option.
It takes a while to get to the right person,
I like how you
You
put
gotta
the second option.
sometimes practice makes perfect.
So we try.
You know?
No, like, this is how you make the shima. Like, no. You know what? Magnus knows how to do it best.
Yeah.
And they pick up, Let's ask him to come over.
I'm the best in Shima.
And thanks to the ever lovely, ever so lovely Esther Chungu,
Oh yeah.
she facilitated it. So
Right. That might be the main reason I'm here.
you should see how Esther and I talk. You'd be like these guys are in their 60s when they're talking.
I use it.
Yeah, it's like, Vamayo, ngabarichana mkwai.
I can see Esther in that.
Yeah, that's how we talk. I'm like, okay, good. So and now guess what? You're here.
I'm here. Yeah, this is amazing. Yeah.
So are you ready to talk about music?
I'm always ready to talk about music. I'm so passionate about music.
Okay, so before we start,
yeah.
do you know what the name Magnus means? Do you have an idea?
No, I don't.
Or where it came from?
Yes.
Not the alcohol.
Oh, Guinness is the alcohol, right?
Oh, I'm calling.
And then no, not it's Magnus, not Guinness.
Okay.
Guinness starts with a G.
That's where my mind
I know,
goes.
because the thing is the ending. No, and you know, funny enough, actually, now that you've said that, when I was in, like, just my first year of high school,
Yes.
my friends used to call me Guinness.
Serious?
Yeah.
Oh, my
That's how I knew what it was. So I was like,
That
why
is
you
some
calling me
terrible
Guinness?
nonsense.
Yes, it's just people just find it so hard to say the word Magnus. It's
I like the
it's
color, but the
ridiculous.
beer clearly is not nice.
Yeah.
It's an acquired taste.
It's a
Some
really
acquired
nice
taste.
dark chocolate with a white frost figure.
You have
This is coming
explained
from
it very
somewhere.
well.
Yeah.
I would almost think.
So, Magnus, what does your name mean?
My name is a Greek name. It means great. Yeah. So, my
Who named you?
My dad. So he was I had my older sister and then my brother, and then there was 8 years. So there's 8 years between me and my older brother. I think they did try to have a child between us, but it didn't happen. So when I came, they were really excited, and so they just thought, let's give this guy the most ridiculous name we can possibly find. So, and the other guys, I mean, they had no more. My older brother is Charles.
Okay.
My young sister, my older sister is Martha. As a nice, and they just said, this guy, we are gonna find the most. I mean, they had a list of like these Greek names.
Oh, wow.
It was like Januarius.
Are you serious?
And all these. So the list, like
They had
triple
high
name,
expectations.
They had very high expectations.
Have you
really,
lived up to them?
That is really the question to ask, like God or something.
So what is Junior?
Well, so there was January. There was all these Greek names.
Okay.
So Magnus was like the easiest one the family could pronounce. So they said, you know what, let's use Magnus. That would be the name. So yeah, so that's how that came about.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I like about Magnus? The way it morphed into Mag.
44.
How did that come about?
So that came about because people couldn't pronounce Magnus.
Okay.
Yeah, so like everyone from my school, they would just fail to say Magnus. It was the strangest thing.
Really?
And they would call me Magnum, Magneto, like they would just
Magneto's
anything.
cool.
Yeah, Magneto's cool. I like that. Yeah. I did like that.
Bloody evil.
So, but most people would call me Magnum. They found it easier to say Magnum than Magnus. I'm like, guys, just the S and put the. But anyways, so yeah, so people called me Magnum. So at the time, a lot of rappers were rapping about, you know, Magnum 44, you know, Biggie busting the door, waving the 44. So all these guys, so then so people started now calling me Magnum 44. So that stuck. And then, you know, now when I became officially an artist, I just kept it as Mag 44. Yeah.
Not the gun.
Not the gun. It is the gun, actually.
Still is,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, yeah, it's still the gun. Well,
I like Mag 44.
cool. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
It's got less syllables. So
We're ready to dive into questions. Can you hurry up?
You want to start?
I'm like trying to push it.
right,
I'm like, I want to know. So, when did the music thing start for you?
music thing. So when I was 7, I mean, my family has always sung. Like, my family was Methodist. So we would sing before anything. Like, before eating, we were singing a song.
Yeah.
Before praying, we were singing a song. Like we sang these Methodist songs all the time. So they would because my mom had like, you know, 9 other siblings.
Okay.
So like, and we most of the time lived together, you know, like because, you know, when my father wasn't when my father passed on, like I lived with my aunts and uncles, so we all lived together. So like they would harmonize, they would divide. Oh, okay, this one's, without even saying it, you know, my uncle would go into the tenor, my mom would do soprano, and you know there was.
Maybe it was just the family that was musical. It did not necessarily that it was a church-based thing, because there are families that are like
the
that.
family. No. It was the family.
Yeah.
They were. I mean, it's just I know Methodists sing quite a bit as well. Like when the service is going on, when it's time to do, you know, whether it's offering or they'll sing before people are leaving, they'll sing, you know, they sing a lot. So they kept that same culture in the family. Yeah. So there was a lot of singing. But my older brother was like, I guess I would say he was like the rebel, because he listened to rap. He listened to, at the time he listened to Coolio and, of course, NWA, all those different. So like in my family, it was like, no, don't like. He does like something else. You need to stick here with us, the normal people. So, but then I was always attracted to what he was doing. Like I was like, oh snap, I love the stuff he's listening to. Like it sounds. So one of the songs that made me really love hip hop was Coolio's "Gangsta's Paradise," because it had the choir sound that I'm used to, and now it had the rap side that my brother does.
Yes.
So like I was like, oh snap, you can actually bring these two worlds together and make something. So yeah, so from that moment, and hip hop is the only genre that can allow like fusions like that. These other genres can be very strict. Like if it's jazz, it's jazz. If it's rock, it's rock. But hip hop, we are like, okay, fine, it's hip hop, but we can take a bit of jazz, we can take a bit of rock, we can take a bit of rumba, we can take anything and fuse that with rap. So I was drawn to rap. So the first time my older brother wrote me a rap was I was 7 years old. So
you'd be like in the room together, and then you'd be like, "I'm just look, I'll write the note. Let's do this."
Yes. That
and then you'd be like, "Okay."
So I think the first time I wanted to be cool at my school. So I told him like I need a rap. I need to
I need the girlies.
I need to do something. So he wrote me something. So and I did it at the school, and everybody was like, yeah.
He's the man.
This guy is.
Did you perform it like at a talent show or something?
Not even anything.
It was just like
that.
I've got my own rap.
My friends, they're just like, oh, I can rap, and then they're like, oh, so like it became a thing. Now, obviously, I became, addicted to like people being like, oh wow, you can rap. This is so cool. So every time I would ask my brother, hey, write me something.
Naimbi.
Then he did that for 5 years and said, hey, bro, I can't do this anymore. Like, you need to start writing your own stuff.
Yeah, why were you not writing your own?
I guess I just never thought I could.
Right.
I just thought, I just thought it was so, like making sure words are rhyming and, the pattern. It was so amazing to me. I just thought there's no way I could do it. I would definitely. And I remember the first time when he told me, bro, I'm not gonna write you raps anymore. Like for him, it was him trying to like push me to do it myself. So I remember thinking, this guy, how can he do this to me? And like, I need to rap for my friends. What are people gonna think of me?
So they'll catch me out.
Why is he destroying my?
You know what I mean? So for some time, actually, I just kept on rapping the old
ones.
So, but then now there was a time where I just had to write my own rhymes. So I did it. Yeah.
Were you entering competitions though, or did any of that come up? Like, were there school talent shows? Were there like local competitions that you could enter, or like what was making you think, actually, I'm quite good at this?
I think it was just a reaction from people. Like, when I would do something, they would be like, okay, this is definitely standout. Like, and look, at the time, hip hop was very influential, so everyone was rapping. Everyone was trying to, if this rapper is rapping, when people are listening to like Tupac or whatever, they are coming and they are reciting, hey, I see no changes, like we're all trying to recite.
Yes.
So now there would be a few who would try to like rap their own things.
Okay.
And of course I was one of them, but they could see that, oh snap, this is his original piece and he's doing it so well, so I think just the reaction of people made me feel, okay, there could be something here. Yeah.
So when did you first step in a studio?
First time in a studio this is now when I was in grade 11. So I was in grade, so basically this was like in 2003, I think. Yeah. So we went to a studio in town. This studio was it was something else, because there was, first off, there wasn't many studios. People weren't really used to the concept of, oh, you can have a studio at the house. It was a new thing, you know, like this, using software to have your music produced. So I went to the studio and there was like hundreds of people trying to record at the same place. So basically what they were doing is like,
how did you hear about it?
I don't even know. I think one of the guys just told me, you know, now that you've spoken about auditions, I did audition actually. I did audition maybe like 2-3 times at different places. So I think at one of the auditions I heard about, oh, there's a studio. Because I knew that even when I was heading to these auditions, I knew that I wasn't going to get my shot, because rap music in Zambia at the time wasn't popular.
What were they doing? Singing instead?
Yeah, so singing, people wanted singers. So, yeah.
R&B or?
R&B, because this was the time of like JK and Chameleon almost. So like so people liked singers more than, because I remember even Exile used to rap. It was now Israel now. He used to rap, but he knew that people weren't going to gravitate to that. They'll want singers. So everyone was singing. So I knew that even when I went for the audition, I knew that they weren't going to, you know, pick me because like there was singers, right?
Yeah.
So when I went to the studio, to me it was like, okay, you know what? I probably need to just pay for studio time and record my own music so that I can, you know, prove to these people that, look, hip hop can be something, right? So that was that attempt. So we went into the studio. There was, like I said, hundreds of us in the queue. So what this studio was doing is they record you for 30 minutes. You've got 30 minutes in the studio to do your song. So you better be ready. So the producer in like 15 minutes makes what is like a beat. It's a terrible beat, but anyways, they make it for you. You get in there, you record your rhymes. They mix and master the song right there in 30 minutes. And they give it to you. So I remember thinking, ish. I remember telling the guys, I said, guys, the amount of time they've given us, we need to be ready. So we need to go in there, direct this producer, because we're going to get a useless beat if we don't. And we need to have a clear vision of what this entire song is going to be. So we're in a group, we called ourselves 3D. So we go there. I tell the producer, look, I want the beat to be like dancehall. I literally beatboxed it to him. Everything that he needed, I gave it to him. So he's like, okay, cool. So he made that. We rapped. Song was done. Took that song to radio. And that song started getting airplay, actually. So it played. I remember, the late Kaliwa used to play it a lot. So I remember it was like on some top 10 with some other songs, and it did pretty well. And, for me to record that song, I remember I had to run away from school because I was in boarding school.
But of course.
But of course, yes. So I had to run away from school, go with the guys, record the song, then go back to school.
Yeah.
So now that's pretty much how that journey started, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was my first time.
And obviously there's a whole bunch of in-betweens, but when
Right.
did you first get the notion that, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm good, I've got a talent, and I could be famous. Like, when
Right.
did that happen for you?
I think that same period, because now, I think what made me, I never thought I would be the famous one because of like just that feeling of, oh, okay, we are, you need to be a singer to be famous, right? So, but I always had this imagination that, I'm out there, like I'm the guy, like I just didn't see myself as an artist performing. Like most of my friends who are artists, like whether it's Pompey or Abel, like when they tell me stories, they could see they had dreams of themselves on stage singing to people. And I just never had that. I never thought I would be the famous one. But I kind of felt
What
like
did you have?
what I felt is that I would be the one like at the helm of the famous ones. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, so like I thought like I'll be the one like creating systems that they
like Barry Gordy.
I've got
Yes.
chills. That's prophetic in its own way, right?
I guess. So I mean, it's just that I wanted to do the music, but then of course coming to now, I've realized that not every song I write has to be my song. I can
write for people.
I can write for people, and some of the biggest songs I've been a part of are not my songs. They're other people's songs. So I think that's kind of how I've always seen myself. But it's just that I didn't really know what that path would look like. I didn't know how to get to that place. So I always thought, okay, it's gonna be me rapping. Like I would just I guess the clear path is I can rap, so I'll probably just be a rapper. Although at the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't think this is the thing that's going to...
But you didn't know what the thing was.
Yeah.
One of the things I think sometimes we don't understand is, I'll give you an example.
Right.
It has nothing to do with music, but
Sure.
I remember I keep a journal, and I've always written in a journal, and it's that kind of thing that you don't know what you want always, but sometimes when you write it, it suddenly sort of clarifies.
Right.
But I remember writing before computers were really a thing. And I remember writing, I'd like to do something with computers. I don't know what exactly, but it would be great to get involved in computers.
Oh, snap.
And I work in marketing for a tech company. I've worked with tech companies.
All right.
So it wasn't that I wanted to build software.
Yes.
And there's so many roles that have subsequently come that were never there before. So that's why I'm saying that's really interesting, because you wouldn't have known a producer to go, you know what, I would like to be a producer. But you have to go through this journey to go, it's something, but I can't quite put my hand on it. And then when you get there, you're like, this is the thing. This now feels right.
Perfect. Absolutely.
So what was the one, like what's the big thing that you've worked on that you've been like, this I've arrived?
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing, like there's so many things that have happened, right? But I think with regards to me knowing that, this is what I'm supposed to be doing is, because now I was at a place where in trying to find like my path, I was trying so many things. I was a TV presenter at some point, and, just trying to find like, what can I be known for, right? And then, now I started going through my spiritual journey and becoming a Christian. And I remember feeling like, I need to stop everything and just like sit and do nothing. And, and for me it was difficult because like all I knew was rap. So I was like, okay, you want me to stop the TV presenting, which gives me a bit of money. And then and then also stop the rapping. So like, it was a difficult decision to make, but I said, okay, you know what? Let me do that. In that year of doing nothing, because like I just got out of I was meant to go to college, so I was in that gap year as well, doing nothing. I discovered that's the period I discovered that I can produce, I can make beats. So I remember the first time I made a beat, because I had obviously been to many studios, so I had experience. I had an understanding of what goes into it, but I just never thought I would be the guy doing it. So I had this computer in the house, and then I started making this beat. I remember the first beat I made, I just felt like I've arrived, I was just like, this is the thing I can do that no one can do better than me. Wow. I was just like, no matter what, like this, I'm great at this, like, as in without... And because of course you don't want to toot your horn like that.
Oh,
right?
yes, you do. There's no one else around. I'm gonna toot my own horn. My shit good.
No one's gonna clap for you.
You want to listen? My shit good.
Yeah. But as in not without a doubt. Like, because even with the rapping, I would be in a place where I'm like, oh snap, that guy can rap. Or like, but with the producing, I was just like, yo. Yeah. Like, I'm the greatest. I was just like, I don't...
Muhammad Ali.
I was just like, wow, like I'm really this is something that I just couldn't explain. And in that moment I arrived. I knew that if someone hears my beats, they are gonna like opportunities will just come.
And who was the someone?
I think it just.
When did it start to morph
So when
out
did it
then?
start? Like, so what happened was, so I said okay. I started producing beats for Tio. Tio was the first artist I produced for, professionally, anyways. So when I produced for him, then at the same time I was producing for Avo as well. Then Pompey heard those beats and said, yo, I want you to produce for me. So I started producing for Pompey. Then Pompey's album came out and, you know, it
Blew up.
And now everyone, like, now that's when I saw, all the artists now. Oh, okay, whatever, you know, this. So then from there, it went into film now. I started doing a lot of stuff for like just different. I remember we did. There's a show that was there called Club Risky Business. It was like a HIV awareness TV show. When I did the sound for that, then I started doing a lot of other TV shows as well. So, you know, so now it became from just recording artists to now doing sound for film, to now doing sound for TV series. And then, of course, now that, I would say now that all, you know, in the meantime, Sampa the Great is starting her career, and part of the songs she's listening to are songs that I've produced. And, you know, she's like, oh, snap, okay, I would want to work with this guy from Zambia one day. You know, she obviously, she's grown up in Australia and what, so she would listen to us from there, you know. And yeah, so I mean, working with her.
But what's an interesting aspect also is most people will be like, I want to work with that artist.
Right,
Not I want to work with that producer.
Yeah.
So that's
true.
interesting that she was looking a bit deeper.
True.
It's true. If you caught up to that Sampa the Great attraction, I'll call it attraction. What would be nice to know is your creative process.
Right.
Up to the point where you worked with this person who knows her stuff.
Yeah,
because she doesn't play.
No. She doesn't, not even a bit. Yeah.
Pays her people. No, she doesn't play.
Yeah.
Pays her people, contracts the right people.
Right.
And when she came to you, I'd like you to explain your creative process, exactly what also wowed her about it.
So Sampa the Great is like, she's an amazing person because maybe just a bit of a backstory. So in 2015, you know, now after producing, so, you know, at that time, you know, we're buzzing. There's Pompey out, there's Abel out, there's Tio out, produce some songs for Slap D, Magg44, you know, and everyone's like, okay, this guy, like, I'm now like, oh, I'm a producer, right? So now now when I looked at the landscape, I'm like, we're doing good music, but I feel like we're not doing Zambian music. We need to make something that's ours that we can take to the rest of the world. We're making what the rest of the world is making. And it's just like, oh, you're making this at the same level. You're making the same beats Dr. Dre would make. You're making the same beats Timbaland would make. But then I kind of felt like, now how do we make something that is Zambian? That the rest of the world can't say. Now the rest of the world needs to look at and say, oh, this, have you heard that Zambian
that is
sound?
distinctively
Right, that is
Zambian.
distinctively Zambian.
Exactly.
And but it's also playing on that international level.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, fine, I need to make. So, you know, I started listening to, like, you know, Zambian music, Kalindula and all that stuff. Then I got attracted to Zamrock. I was like, this sound is powerful. I love it. Zamrock needs to be a thing. And, you know, when I heard it, I said, snap, I think people just haven't heard it. So we need to make this Zamrock music, and the whole Zambia will be on fire, and we're going to take Zamrock to the rest of the world. That did not happen. I did a whole Zamrock album, and people just thought it was a waste of time.
Your own album?
My own album,
okay.
Because I had done an album before, which
do you think it was too shocking? Like contrast was too much?
It was. I remember a friend of mine, Lucci, a radio presenter, he heard the album. He's like, bro, this album is brilliant, but it's ahead of its time.
Whoa.
He said, the people are not going to get it now, but it's a beautiful album. So I was like, yeah, Lucci, it's fine, cool. And for sure, no one paid attention to it. So did that album, disappointed, thinking, okay, people didn't connect with Zamrock. So I left that and I went on to produce other things. Then Sampa the Great now reached out. So this was in 2020. She actually, she had put up one of my songs on her Instagram stories. So maybe before that, actually, what had happened was, her cousin ended up saying that, okay, because I was close friends with her cousin Stephen Mwale. So he told me that, oh, look, I've got a cousin, her name is Sampa the Great. She's amazing. And so I was just like, anyway, at that time, everyone was telling me about their cousin who can sing.
Of course.
So I just said,
and my daughter, and my son.
Yes. I'm like, yeah, whatever. So I was like, So then, from there, I was on Instagram, and then I saw like a world famous rapper was like, he was having this concert, and then he's like, okay, so like the concert had come to an end, and then he's like, all right, shout out to all the people who was on stage with me. He mentions like 3 other famous people, and then he says, and Sampa the Great. I'm like, wait a minute, I've heard that name before.
The one I was ignoring.
I was like, what? And then I see her.
Like a cousin.
So I thought, cool, Steven. He said, this is your guy. I was like, bro, I was telling you that she's doing well. I was like, yeah. Anyway, so I thought I blew that chance. So when she had put the video on her IG, I thought, oh, okay, maybe they still. So I'm like, hey, oh, cool, thank you. When are you coming to Zambia? So we link up. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm actually coming. And then, she eventually came to Zambia, came to the studio. And then, she's like, so do you have any beats? So I was like, no, I just have one beat. Because at the time, what ended up happening is I stopped making like just beats that are laying around doing nothing. I would always, if an artist comes, I make the beats for that artist, and that's that would be the story there. But then I just had one beat that was just chilling. So I said, okay, cool. So in my mind, I'm just like, yeah, I should have had more beats, because like one. I mean, what if she hates it? Then I've got nothing else to show.
Exactly.
But anyway, that's all I have. So, thank goodness I played the beat and she loved it. She immediately started rapping to it, recorded. I said, cool. So then from there, she now said, you know what, I'm ready to do an album with you. I want us to do this Zamrock sound. I was like, what? Do you know? So I started explaining to her, I was a bit burnt by it, so I was a bit afraid to do Zamrock with her. I'm like, the thing, I've tried this thing before, and I feel like people didn't quite gravitate to it, So I don't know if I wanna,
Was that like a sense of like it will also fail?
Because I was.
Let's protect ourselves.
Let's protect ourselves, sort of deal, and especially that it's the first album I'm doing with her. I want to make sure. So there was that. So it was, I would say there was 20% fear and 80% let's do this. Because, Sampa comes with that energy of like, she's got that energy of like, we're going to conquer the world. Let's do this.
Wow.
So, we recorded this album. And as we were recording, she then made me see my mistakes with my first album. So as much as I did a Zamrock album, it was purely Zamrock. I got the Zamrock sound in its raw state and just rapped on the same. So now the thing is, people couldn't connect with it because there were no sounds that were
modern times.
Yes. So what Sampa was like, she was like, look, we do Zamrock, right? Let's get elements that are from Zamrock. Not all of them, just a few of them.
Something that will make people realize it's still Zamrock.
It's Zamrock, yes. But at the same time, we keep the modern sounds. So that's how we did Never Forget. So Never Forget has these riffs that are Zamrock riffs, so the guitars and stuff like that. But then the drum is still 808. It's still the hip hop thump that we are used to. So now when that came out, so I was like, oh, okay, this is what I was missing, So now when we So now even with, we're working on stuff now. Like, the way we've taken it, it's insane. People just need to. It's mad. It's mad. Like
the new stuff.
The new stuff. Oh, I won't say much before.
Oh, how long do we have to wait?
I don't even know anything.
Let's
This is
be fair. We won't tell anybody.
Just here.
Me, you, T, and Dale.
Yes, I see.
Don't tell anybody.
I wouldn't trust Dale, but definitely us here. Yeah.
Oh man.
Let's do the Three Musketeers.
The Three Musketeers. Yes. No. The truth is, even I don't know.
No, it's
okay.
Because the thing is, and even just what I appreciate with working with Sampa, apart from us discovering and saying, okay, fine, this is what Zamrock's gonna look like, this hybrid of music. She also just working with her, I've learned so much about systems in the industry that we don't have, as in the Zambian music industry. So with where she's from, like, what she has learned, and like just how, like the systems that have been created for musicians. Like she's taught me so much, and like for me it's been helpful to also just encourage other artists. Like, okay, look guys, music, making money from music is not just doing shows. It's not just singing at clubs or whatever.
It's not recording a basic and then thinking everyone's gonna love it.
Yes.
Put more effort, work harder on it.
Yes, work harder on it.
Craft your skill.
And understand, and also place yourself in a position where you maximize, like, on the platforms that a musician can get. And like you've said, like just we need to work at our maximum, work at our best. And man, it's been so much to learn. Yeah.
When you're making the songs, are you here and she's there? How do you work? How does it happen?
So for the first album, she was here. We recorded everything at a studio, my studio, and there was also another studio we had, and we had a full team.
Do you have a studio at home, or?
I have a studio separate from home. I don't like working because I never stop working. So if the studio was at home, my family would.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
behind every successful man
is a surprised woman.
That's what we're trying to avoid. So studio.
I like that one. Can you repeat that one, please? Behind every successful
Should I ask again? Behind every successful man is
a surprised woman.
That's what.
How the hell did that happen? That man, this husband of mine, where?
You know how he was when I found him.
Hey, exactly.
No, but carry on.
So like she would come to the studio. Another thing we did recently was, her and her management flew us over to Botswana. And, we had an apartment where we were all staying. So we wake up, produce music, we are fed, taken care of.
Live and breathe.
Exactly.
Why Botswana?
Botswana is where is nice, first of all. There's no load shedding, all right?
Right. Starts playing the beat.
Yeah, so it's good, and also she's grown up there. So she's grown up Zambia, Botswana, a bit of Australia. Did some school in the US. So it's also a part of her, right? So so that was also an amazing experience. I mean, even just the music we brought out, I think. I won't say much.
I have something to. I had a conversation with Chilo Lemba talking about the level of exposure for Zambian musicians.
Right.
Royalties, that IP thing.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff.
This fly is just dancing around you as you're talking. Carry on.
This fly is from Mulapula province. This fly is
Leave my people alone.
our people. So if she says a few words here and there, you will see it to be like, I hear you.
Oh man, no.
So on a podcast, trying to kill a fly.
No. This is definitely. I knew I knew it would be great to be here. I knew. From the moment I
want to get a swat.
It's swat you on the face.
Swat me instead.
Sorry.
Don't move. Yeah. So I got to learn that our friends in SA where is based know a lot of this stuff. So when they get into music, they understand this stuff. So he talked about, because I'm trying to relate this to Sampa's music, what he calls, and I'm going to refer directly to how he put it. He says passport music and NRC music. Yeah. So when you get a passport, you can tell, oh, this is Tanya.
Yeah.
NRC be like,
who's this?
Is it her?
Are you sure?
So there's a very big distinction between the two. To make music which is sellable across the border, passport music, in Europe, in America, wherever you go.
Right.
He had gone to do some work, I think, in the, I don't know if it was Mauritius or the Seychelles somewhere.
Right.
And he heard Roberto sound.
Right, yes.
They were playing a Roberto sound somewhere. So he turned to go and listen and found these guys playing the song.
Oh,
yes, man. Live. So now his
crazy.
challenge and my challenge, obviously her, she agrees, darling.
Yes, I do.
Is that we are too concentrated on stuff that cannot be sold out there. Whereas our friends in Nigeria, East Africa, are serious, South Africa of course, are seriously doing this, and they are able to be called proper musicians.
Right.
We won't be invited
Let's say world-class musicians.
World-class, yes. Exactly, world-class musicians. So we won't get invited to certain gigs. So when this woman called Sampa the Great came up, I had to go, this is what Chilulem was talking about.
Yeah.
The business of music.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So you can take it up from there.
I mean, like I've said, and you see, the thing is that I'm still learning on what just the business structure of music, but there's just a lot even to do with like making sure that everyone who's in the value chain of making music is getting their revenue, right?
Yeah.
So you for a long time, the industry has been based on the artists get rich, the producers get nothing, the instrumentalists get nothing, you know. So now that has been a problem because we don't have a system that makes sure that everyone, if you release a song, everyone's who's involved in making that song happen gets their cut, right? For the longest time, all the whatever revenue that song makes. And when I'm talking about revenue, I'm not just talking about just the streams, but even just the performances, you know, like the endorsements, you know, like there's a lot of times songs I've produced have been used to push brands, and I've never seen that money because the system we don't have a system that makes sure that, who's the producer of this song? Okay, if we're going to use this song for this brand, we need to make sure that we're not only paying the artist, but we're paying the producer, we're paying the guitarist involved, we're paying the, you know what I mean, everyone who has intellectual property on that song, right? So Sampa comes along and shows me, no, actually there's splits, basically. Like, okay, you need to have splits. Everybody involved needs to be paid for what they did, right? And constant, forever.
Yes.
In perpetuity.
Do you get residual checks?
Very much so.
Exactly.
Yes, I do.
But do you only get residual checks with artists like Sampa, but not
only from Sampa?
Right.
But I've produced many other artists, and I don't blame the other artists I've produced. It's just that there's no system that makes sure Now, we are
But
coming
the
to a place.
residue is nice. When it arrives.
Oh my, it assists.
When you're like, what are we
assists.
eating this
Hey.
week? Oh! There only champagne. You've gone from hunger to champagne.
We want with water today.
The type of people to
No
go all
water.
the way like that.
No, but I'll tell you, I got deep into it because it's a tragedy that it's 60 years later.
Right.
And my friend normally says, Independence 1964, sunshine. I'm so shocked she's not using it. But our musicians get shocked at what they see when they travel out there. They get shocked.
Yeah.
They don't know the business language of music itself.
Yeah.
All right?
Very true.
Now, I'll give you an example. And I think from our previous discussions, I alluded to how we have the wrong people doing the wrong things.
Right.
First off, Zamcops, Magnus and Tanya. For a radio station, they will charge you 4,000 kwacha a year.
Oh, really?
4,000 kwacha only a year. How much music do we play as radio stations? How much music do we play? So if they're charging me 4,000 kwacha.
Now you need to play more of his because those are free.
Yeah, these are free, eh? So imagine from 4,000 kwacha, how much are you guys gonna get?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How much? How much music is played per day?
That's the point.
Sure.
Exactly.
Roberto 187 uyu na balaba mayo badati walirowerera.
All those.
Yes. How much are you gonna get from 4,000 kwacha? How many radio stations do you have?
True.
How much are you getting from the TV stations, from the pubs, the places we go to?
Right.
It's just too little money.
It is.
But do you know where it starts? The people who are selected into these positions. Zamcorp itself, the structure is crap.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah. Very
That is where it goes. They don't push for your IP stuff internationally.
So do you know who heads that up? Do you know who heads that up?
There's an
At the
association
moment,
called Zamka. I don't know who's heading it up, but that's where the problem is. So with people like Sampa, the exposure is such that there's no play.
But her producers, the record companies, they do all of that. It's already a system in
It's
place.
fine. I'm happy
She doesn't
with it.
even do anything. She just knows it works as well.
No, she does a lot because she makes sure that if she wants somebody, that person is going to get their money.
Yes, but
Here, what happens when an artist gets somebody? What happens? With money.
Yeah.
I come and contract you to help me with something. Chase money. Chase that money.
Yeah. And then the thing is that if you didn't know you're supposed to get money, they'll just keep quiet.
You appear in a music video.
So, I mean, look, what a lot of us are doing right now. So like, my publishing is handled by like BMI, which is it's an international. So like that is what we are now doing. We are now saying, okay, you know what, we're not gonna try and mess with companies like Zamcops and all that different
we won't
stuff.
get into
And
that
we'll
local argument anymore.
We'll get it, We'll do it with these people. Because they'll make sure they collect our royalties around the world and stuff like that. And look, at the end of the day, I can't 100% blame Zamcops because it's a everybody thing, because the thing is, Zamcops was created in an effort to try and collect these royalties from you. But then the thing is, our industry is small. That's the one thing we need to think about. Right. I think if it was up to me to with regards to the music industry, I would say the model we should follow is the Swedish industry.
What's their model?
So the Swedish just make all the music in the world, but no one knows it's them. I don't know if that makes sense. So there's a guy called Max Mando.
It's a Swedish producer. I'm always like,
yes. So they'll write the music, produce the music. They are making the most money. There's a guy called Max Martin. Look him up. I mean, he's written songs from Backstreet Boys. That's what I Want It That Way. Everything from there all the way to The Weeknd. I Can't Feel My Face, to Taylor Swift. One guy. So now they've placed themselves in the system.
One Magnus.
So now they've placed themselves in the industry and they've made, what they've done is that they're not trying to, because the problem with us as Zambians and a lot of other African countries, they are looking at the Nigerian industry and saying, oh snap, we need to become like the Nigerians.
But it's the closest you can relate to.
Yes, it's the closest you can relate to, but they've got 200 million people.
Exactly.
You know, I was actually hearing something that I don't know if it's true, but there's 4 million Nigerians in London, in England. How are you going to flop? How can you fail to fill up the O2? You've got 4 million people. You know what
true.
I mean?
That's actually a really good perception.
Also, me, I want to go fill up. You don't have the number.
2,000.
So you agree that stadium value to a party filled it up. You see?
No, in Zambia you can fill up. You can be a local champion, right? No, in Zed, you can fill up. Zambians fill up.
Okay, where are you filling up the stadium?
No, me, I don't. I told you, I'm the one who heads the people who fill up stadium.
He's now the, Motown.
Exactly, very good. Exactly.
Yeah, but I think that we just need to, what we need is, look, in Zambia, you can do as much as you can, right? There's a lot that's being done, and Zambian music has come a long way, and I'm not gonna say that things haven't, like it completely sucks. Things have changed drastically. Like we have an entire industry, it's got no structure, but we have a lot of artists who are making like a killing, and they are making a proper living from being musicians, and it's coming up, but I feel like the industry is becoming bigger faster than the structure.
There's no structure to support the industry that's growing. Exactly.
Yes. So that's why I feel like it's almost like for now, for you to really make money. I mean, even just some of the things that, like, if you have 1,000 views from the UK and you have 1,000 views from Zambia, guess who's getting paid more? UK. Right? There are YouTubers who are getting far less views than Zambians, but they are getting more money and they are making. So it's like now, how do we get that money? How do we get these views there, and
paid?
And yes.
So Magnus, has that conversation started?
I mean, look, the conversations are being had, but like I said, those conversations are happening slower than the industries. Look at Your Maps. I mean, like, he's becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. Like he's doing, I honestly see that Your Maps can be like the diamond platinum of like, he can be as big or even bigger than diamond platinum. It's very possible. But the problem is that I feel like now the system we haven't got a system that can allow that to happen. So it's almost like he needs to do it somewhere else.
But you have to be on an external record company to get the benefit of the revenue that you potentially could make.
You could make.
So you if you're going to, what I'm hearing is, if you're going to be successful, it can't all stay local. You have to eventually export yourself. 100%. And then now you're also paying external producers, external dancers, and because that happens externally. The record company will give you the backing that they have. They don't necessarily, and I'm not saying it wouldn't happen, but to a degree, Sampa was lucky to be able to be, can I use you? She could have been told, no, these are the producers that you're going to use. And especially if you are a manufactured artist, they tell you this is what you're going to have. So you don't even, you could have said, oh no, I've got this great producer, we don't care. This is what
you need to,
so then you sell yourself to those people. But if the industry is not here, how are you gonna, because I think what's happening is they have to now make money outside of the music industry. You're making music, but you have to make your money outside of the industry.
Yes. Which I think, and that's what ends up happening. Now you have to do extra. You have to do too much, especially being here, right?
But I think the industry's also evolved. Don't forget, even Beyonce has to get her money from stadiums and shows. It's no longer just because she made an album and she's raking it in. People aren't buying albums the way that they used to.
True. I mean, there's definitely that change.
So there is that change. And I think although we are changing also, but the fundamentals are still not there. She still can pay her royalties even if she's changed the way that she's doing her music.
Yeah, very true.
But how does the industry like strengthen itself? Like, I don't know, it feels like, is there an industry? That's, I guess, what I want to ask. Is there really an industry?
I mean, there's no structured industry. That's for sure. There's no, like you said, you guys are being given a block amount that you should pay as a radio station. You're being given a block amount that you should pay towards royalties, which shouldn't be the case. It should just be, there should be a system where when someone plays music, that this song has been played how many times?
How many tracks?
That's yes. That
What's
system.
the total?
There
you go. That's your bill.
System is not there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's not
So
there.
okay. So like that's the. So it's small things like that destroy that make it not be not have like a machine that okay, when you put the music in here, it's gonna go to this, and eventually you're gonna get paid and it will come back to you, sort of deal. That's not there. What is there though? What I can say is working, right? Is artists, they can become popular. They can do, release their music and it's hit music. They then get shows. So shows, you get your money from there. You get your money from your endorsement deals. The problem is we are not being paid. We're not being paid nearly as much as international artists are. Right?
Hold up. That has been an issue for a long time.
Yeah.
So
But just, yes. Yeah.
is it because of lack of a system, lack of a standard?
100%.
Lack of a standard.
A lack of a standard. Because see, what happens is when you create a system, you create a standard. So now the thing is, you can't, if an artist can blow today, and you tell him, oh, I'll pay you 5p to come and perform, he's gonna do it because like, hey, I've never seen $5,000 in my life. Let me do it. So now you as an artist, if you come and say, okay, look, I charge 30 grand, I charge 50 grand, there's no standard to say, oh, okay, look, there's this grade of artists, you need to get paid this amount, this should be.
But you can still do that yourself as an individual. And once one starts, the others also can follow.
But that's not what's happening, right?
It's the same that social media influencers have.
Right.
They think, oh, this is my following, but MTN will still just pay you $5,000 to maximize on the following that you have.
Right.
When you should also stipulate, no, in fact, my charge is $20,000, and this is what I'm going to do for that money.
True.
So taking the leadership within that, and it feels like the problem with artists is like when you're in front of your audience, you're the king. But when you're in front of the music industry, you're just like a small boy papatilaling for a next opportunity.
Right.
And it's like stand up and have your self-belief. What is your worth?
Right.
How are you putting yourself forward? And if you say, my price is 10K per whatever, stick to it.
True.
Don't start going, oh, no, okay, no, maybe I can do 5.
Yes, true. I mean, and the thing is, I mean, there's that trouble, right? There's also the trouble that you see, because even if you come to, I mean, the figures guys are getting now is around 50K. If you are good, maybe 100K if you are the proper A-list artist. But you see, it's still nothing compared to what a South African artist would charge. What
and
a
even
Nigerian
the
artist
frequency.
would
So here's
it
the
could
thing.
be one a year, but you want one a month.
Yes.
You know?
True? Exactly.
You and the group, not you particularly, but I'll mention his name. Slap D had complained.
Yes.
And I'm going to make reference to the Stanbic Music Festival.
Right.
He complained maybe 3-4 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, and it's not a new thing.
Yeah.
He complained about, the issue came up about the disparity.
Yes. Between the
pay.
international artists and the local. Yeah.
We had some arguments on our own, like, look at what he does, look at what you're doing.
Yeah.
But then, okay, favor your local.
Yes.
Because you're going to be there's a question I want to ask you later, so I hope I don't mess it up.
No, but I hear you.
Yeah, so the issue was, you're not the main act.
Right.
All right? But you're needed.
At the event.
Yes, at the event.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have called you, right?
Yes. So now others will say, okay, I'll do it. Then others will simply say, in talking about the value, self-value you talked about, I will not perform for that. But I want Tanya to perform. So Tanya refuses. And then Chanda says, give me. It's a sham show, it's just a mediocre show. but I accepted.
Right.
That's why I talked about the standard that you guys meet as the conversation started regarding how you harmonize this.
I mean, we do try. There's been a lot of meetings. There's been a lot of meetings to try and. But you see, the thing is that the shape of the industry is constantly changing.
There's no shape.
You know,
it's like an amoeba.
That's why it's constantly changing.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes. So I mean, like maybe we can discuss and we say, okay, fine, us we are the biggest artists in Zambia. This is gonna be our rate. Tomorrow, there's gonna be the biggest artist, and he's got his. You know what I mean? So now it's like, okay, fine, let's talk to this guy. The next day, there's some social media, personality who's also killing it. So it's like it's a thing of, okay, how do you now? I think what needs to happen is everyone, I mean, even South Africa has done this really well. Mm-hmm. Everyone who comes into the industry already finds a working system. You can't just come and do your own thing.
Yeah.
There's already a system. Oh, this is how things work here. You don't just wake up and do, So that needs to be sorted out. Mm-hmm. And when we come to creating that system, like even what you're saying about Slap D, the thing is, we can say, okay, fine, this is how much we charge. Mm. But at the same time, it kind of needs to be justified, right? Like it needs to be justified in the sense that the industry is still small, right? It's still, as much as it's a growing industry, it's still a small industry. Mm-hmm. There's only so much, you can't get paid the same amount that someone in a big industry is getting paid. So what we need to do, whether it's Slap or everybody, is we now need to put ourselves on that platform. Mm-hmm. Like we can't expect to get paid that platform money when we are on the Zambian platform.
Yeah, but that was well put, well said.
Oh man!
If we talk about how music, you said a lot has happened in the last so many years.
Right.
Too many musicians, structures not being there.
Yeah.
The evolution of music in Zambia, right, has now come to a point where Zamrock is being revived.
Right.
Yes. Would like you to touch on how our music has been sampled out there.
Yeah.
What's really going on and how you and Sampa made it work.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing to see just some of the stages that Zamrock is finding itself on. Of course, you can't not talk about Tyler the Creator sampling Pongozi. You can't not talk about Travis Scott sampling Amanaz. You know what I mean? So it's like there is a lot of like eyes on this Zamrock thing. I had a guy who came to the studio once. He came all the way from England, and he was like, "Yo," and he's a white guy, and he's like, I was told Zamrock is from Zambia, and I came and I looked for who I can talk to about it, and people pointed him to me, and he came to our music school, and when he came there.
Music school?
Yes.
Can we go back there at some point? Carry on.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Yes, we do. So anyway, so that's
it's got to my secret.
So now, when he came, and he's asking me, so tell me about Zamrock. So I'm telling him what I know, anyways. Who started it? Who coined the name and all that different stuff. And then, so he says, is there anyone doing Zamrock now? So I was like, there are not very many. So it's like, why? So I'm like, look, the thing is, there was a point when Zamrock died from Zambia. It's not, which is something that happens a lot in these Western countries, right? If they have a genre of music, they keep it going. Like rock and roll is not as popular as it used to be, but it's still that they still keep the fundamentals of it, and they still do it. Same thing with jazz, but for us, when Kalindula was at its peak with Vena PK, when those guys weren't doing it, there was a period of silence in Zambia where music wasn't, there wasn't any Kalindula, there wasn't any Zamrock, there wasn't anything that was Zambian music. Rumba had taken over, like people were only listening to Rumba artists. maybe a few artists like Victor Kachaka and Ballad Zulu at the time were there, but like the Zambian music as we knew it was dead, right? And then of course later on, then I believe Mondo music came about, right? Mm-hmm. But now the thing with that I realized that we are not doing is that we are not keeping these old sounds in our new sound, right? So now in the end, that music was at a place where it was lost, you know? And so now I'm explaining to this guy and I'm like, look, yes, you've heard this Zamrock sound and you love it, but for us, it wasn't there. It's only now that we are, you know, even talking about it or whatever. So he says, but the thing is that it's so huge where I'm from. Mm-hmm. I was like, wait a minute, what? Mm-hmm. So he's like, yeah, I've been to like witch concerts at I'm like, what? The witch has concerts? So then I started looking deep into this thing, and these guys fill up like arenas. As in like a lot of white people listening to this black man sing rock music.
Even the band, you've seen how he's constructed his new band.
Yes. There's some white guys. Yeah, he's the only black guy.
So did you watch the documentary?
The Zamrock
the Amazon,
documentary.
Zamrock documentary.
Is it on Amazon?
Yes.
No, I haven't seen it.
Yes. I don't buy
I am going to see
films.
Yes.
I bought the Zamrock one. I'm just watching it once. I watched that one like 3 to 5, 10 times.
I didn't even know there's a document. Wow,
well,
that's amazing.
That was the one because this Kamzungu boy finds these records and he's exploring the whole thing and he's like, let me see if I can find these people who did the music.
Yes.
And he comes to Zambia. I'm doing a very short version.
Right.
And he comes to Zambia, manages to find Jaggery and invites Jaggery because obviously some of the others have died. There's a gentleman, I think, I don't know if he couldn't travel or whatever.
Yeah.
So he invites them to come over because there's the concert that they're holding.
Right.
And Jaggery comes. I think they mixed the genre groups. So I think there was a guy in the UK already, and he was in another band. So he then was now playing as part of the what would have been the Witch. But yeah, so he started this. He brings them into like he just takes them because he's not where is he? He's not English. I think he's like Belgian or something like that. And so the room is just full of Muzungus, and they even there like this music is great. It's great.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking, and your people don't even recognize you. You know.
That's the bad thing about this whole situation. And I mean these guys, like I said, even just streams wise, right? If you go on Spotify, your biggest Zambian artists are doing maybe 50,000 monthly listeners. The one I've seen at the most maybe is I think I saw Yo Maps who had like 100,000. This is for the Zambian artists. But these guys like Jagger and the Witch basically, they have 200,000 monthly listeners.
Tell me they're getting their royalty checks.
Of course, they are in the system.
They
are getting, those guys are getting their royalty checks. Wow. That's for sure.
The structure is working for them.
The structure is working for them, yeah. So it's, I mean, so there's something there that we shouldn't ignore. We can say, okay, fine, look, this Zamrock thing. Why are these guys, why is the Witch, why are their Spotify monthly listeners higher than us who are supposed to be, we're doing Zambian music.
Yeah, but because, my thing is this. Yeah. They are appealing to non-Zambians.
Yes.
And the non-Zambian community is way bigger.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And rock, because it's a derivative of rock.
Of rock, yes.
Now,
sure.
There's still rock lovers out there, but rock has not been a big Zambian or even African thing.
Never, yeah.
And it was a moment in time because when you listen to Jaggery talking about their influence on the music of that time, that is not. Remember, now we dived into R&B, then we dived into hip hop. Like we were not rock music people.
Yes.
So it's no surprise that it kind of died away.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
But also, if your country doesn't like rock, how are you going to sell to people who don't listen to rock?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So let the Mzungus listen. Let's get
Let's
that.
get that.
I don't
Yeah,
have
true.
an issue with that. I think
Yeah.
sometimes the problem is people don't understand this.
Yeah.
Marketing is about a story. Tell the story, people will understand.
Will understand, right?
And so if you explain to Zambians the reason why this music is so good, you explain the history of how it came about, the story of how they ended up, you know, like they were huge.
Yeah.
When okay, I'm sidetracking everything and making it about me.
No, let's just do it.
I'm talking to my dad about, I found this documentary about, you know, the witch. And I'm saying something and he goes, oh, I saw them in Livingston in 1972. And I'm like, what? How? Why don't I know about this?
Yes,
but, you know, he's not going to tell me, oh, by the way, this band. You know, and I'd just be like, huh?
Should look into it.
I tell my cousin, oh, there's this group called The Witch. And she's just, we were in London and she's just getting ready, you know, and I'm like, you know, I saw this documentary about this group called The Witch. And she goes, and she said the witch, what is it? I've forgotten it.
The meaning.
We intend to cause havoc.
We intend to cause havoc,
Right.
exactly. And I was like, how do you know? And she goes, my dad was their producer.
Oh,
I was
snap.
like, what? So you know, you're like, wait, how? So
why am I missing out on all
it
this?
has this wonderful richness as well that we don't know about. And that's, I think, some of the stuff that we need to bring forward a little bit more so people understand the value of it. And Sampa's music, I think, has been a good way of like pulling the story back. Like, why is she influenced by this? Why does that sound so good when she's doing it? Where did she get it from?
And how is she making it work?
Yes.
But her uncle was a member of the band?
Yes, her uncle was a member of the band. Yes. Her uncle was a member of the. Yeah. It's crazy. It's got it's there's layers upon layers of this thing. Layers upon layers of this thing.
That's so now I get it.
Yes.
Because I was like, but why is she drawn?
No, but you see, the thing is, even she didn't know.
No.
When she was getting into the Zamrock thing, that's when her dad was like, oh, actually, your uncle was.
By the way. Oh my God.
So I mean, the thing is, you are right. The story does need to be told about this thing, and maybe that's when Zambians will feel like, oh, okay, this is something I can connect to. Yes.
You know, what we were saying before about Americans was offline, it wasn't on the show.
Right.
Like, how do Americans know America's the greatest country in the world? Because they
told
said
you
so.
Yeah.
You know?
True,
and it's the same. We should be telling our story continuously.
Yes.
As Zambians, we tell the story.
Yes.
We tell the story to ourselves and we tell to the people out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The issue I've always had with the Zambian story is that there's a version which is put out there by non-Zambians.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. We need to put that story out ourselves. Yeah, true. True.
So for you, the music itself, like what drew you to it? Like when you made that album, what were you drawn to?
Man, I mean, I've always liked rock music anyways. I used to listen to, there was a period in my life when I was surrounded with white people. I'm not going to get into that, but anyways, goddamn white people. But yes, so
Can't live without them.
So they introduced me to Limp Bizkit, Offspring.
Oh my
and all
God.
this stuff. Yes. So like I was listening to that stuff.
Stop thinking backwards.
What's going? Have I sparked some memories? Anyway, so we went into this. So like I grew a liking towards rock music. So now when I heard Zamrock,
this is my Zamrock.
It sounded like Zamrock.
I was Zamrock.
So, yes, I was Zamrock.
She just starts singing whenever we're filming.
Wow, it's perfect. It's good for the ambience.
It sounds like.
Sorry,
carry on.
So I mean, so because of that, actually the people who played me Zamrock music were there's I mentioned earlier that I did my first film, which was Club Risky Business. So the family that run a company called Media 365 the period. So they then so the one of them, who's Freddie, gave me this like bunch of it's like a catalog, like case of all this witch music. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I started playing through that. I'm like, this was brilliant.
Yes.
And then
Why did he give it to you?
I don't know. we would have a lot of conversation because like with him and his family, they're very they know a lot of stuff. So so I was having a lot of conversations with him about music and all that different stuff, and then from there he then started telling me, look, he was into hip hop and he was talking about sampling and saying, look, why don't people think of sampling, American stuff. Why can't you sample some Zambian stuff? Why can't you sample some Zamrock? So I was like, what's that?
What's Zamrock?
Yes, and then that's when I found those. Then he gave me those CDs and I was like, what? This is amazing. So I played the Zamrock, I played their music and, I thought, okay, it's great music and that's where it ended. And then I was given the opportunity, another line of production that I do is I do stage production. So I was doing stage production for the Zambia Music Awards, which was organized by the same Media 365. So they gave me the opportunity to do the stage production, right? So now with the stage production, one of the performances was going to be by Witch and Maureen Leelander. Right, so I was like, and at the time, I started having this liking for Zamrock. So now when I met them, and now doing, what ended up happening is on the set, they even said, oh, why don't you just do a little rap here? I was like, so when I did that rap, I said, yeah, that's all. I'm doing the Zamrock. I'm in.
Sold.
I'm into this Zamrock thing. Yeah. So that's how from that moment on, and the rest is history. That's how we ended up building the whole album.
So do you think as a performer, the energy of rock music influences you slightly differently?
It's very much. I love, because the rock music has that. Rock music has a lot of things that I know people think of it, especially as Africans, we just think they're just shouting. What's the problem with these people? But there's a lot of art in it, in that, one, the vocal range of those artists is crazy. They do amazing things with their vocals. If you really pay attention, it's insane. Two, it's live music. So they are actually musicians who've put in time to learn the skill of playing on time and whatever. So and then the even more amazing thing is the distortion guitar. It's distortion, but it's still audible. It's still musical. Because you see, when you've got distortion means, disorganization. It shouldn't be. So it's yes, but it's organized noise. Yes. That is crazy. It's the distortion guitar, but you can hear. It's like they distorted just enough to be clear. You can still feel the destructiveness of it, but you can't. But it's not destroying what
the connection is.
Yes,
there.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Okay.
So those are things that I'm like, oh man, that in itself is amazing. As rock is an amazing sound. And I mean, of course, there's stories that it started with black people and the Jimi Hendrix.
There's no stories. It's true.
Everything. Yes. I mean, I don't know.
Hendrix.
I didn't read about it.
Before Jimi Hendrix.
Why wish for Hendrix?
Yeah, before. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. So it's I think it's something that, I mean, I was attracted by that, and now obviously with what Witch did with it, with what Pongozi did with it, because Pongozi was like, okay, I'm going to get this Kalindula and Zamrock, make it. So in fact, the 3/4 count, that's, so I feel like Pongozi perfected what was being built by everyone, you know what I mean? He's the one who made it now, okay, let me make it more Zambian. He's singing in Bemba, he's singing Zambian stories, and at the same time keeping the distortion guitar, but now in a Kalindula rhythm. So it's, man. Phenomenal. I mean, that's something we can take anywhere in the world.
We were playing
and that's
it
ours.
before you came.
You know what I mean? Oh, you were?
Yes, we were.
Our superstar DJ.
You happy? Hey.
But DJ, you know what I call her?
Yes.
I got many names for her.
Yeah.
Today she was DJ Serelapa.
Oh man.
That did not. She was preparing for you.
Yeah, I see. DJs are real up.
DJ set it up.
You guys are crazy.
No, but yeah, she played Jang Jang, that one.
That one, of course.
Yo.
I mean, that one's been sampled. I mean, the first time I heard it sampled Crisis.
Yes.
Chisenga. Yes. He calls himself Chisenga now. Yeah. So he had sampled that, which he did really well. And guys have gone on to sample that particular song has been sampled by quite a number of people locally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, because it's really dope. It's got a very it's dope.
You know what we say? It switches you on when you're sitting.
Yes. It's because
Boom.
yes. I know that's crazy. It's crazy.
Amazing.
So yeah, and Tyler, of course, did
What
an
do you
amazing
think of Tyler's track?
I was just, I loved it, of course, but I was torn between feeling upset that we didn't do anything about it and that we had to wait for a US person to do it, and feeling like, okay.
No, I think that's, the fact that a US person did it I
means
think
that
is
there's
what's
something.
important.
True.
Yes.
True.
And it's like, what I want to know is, when did he hear that track? That he should think, this is one I'm going to sample. Like, how did that happen?
I have many theories.
Go.
But I'm not gonna. I don't
Tell
know.
us one.
I don't.
There's a baddie. Come on, there's a baddie involved. Tell us which baddie was.
No. No, tell us your theory.
I think it's possible he could have heard Sampa's stuff, and I think it's possible.
I don't think that's impossible.
Why I think it's possible is because the same mix engineer who mixed Sampa's album mixed Tyler's album. Yeah.
You see now.
It's possible. I mean, I'm not saying it's what happened.
We decided that's what happened.
Yes.
It's the truth.
That's what happened.
It's the truth.
Yes.
Exposure to Sampa's music led Tyler to let me look into what kind of music these guys do.
Yeah.
Who was the producer?
So the mix engineer, an amazing man. His name is Neil. I mean, this man has won I don't know how many Grammys. He actually used to be the mix engineer for Outkast.
Okay.
Before, so all that stuff, he mixed that stuff. Then, of course, mixed Sampa's album, the one I produced, and then mixed Tyler's album.
So your song, let's get into that song. I want to know the mesh between her rapping,
yes,
that Zamrock part, and then you threw in Chef one goddamn 87.
Yes.
How was that?
Man, I mean, I've always loved Chef. Chef is easily the greatest rapper of all time in Zambia. Easily. It's I can put him there.
Easily. Like 1+1.
He's easy, you can I don't think there's been a rapper. There's been amazing rappers, but what Chef has done is crazy. Yeah. Mad respect for the man.
Using your word,
so, I mean, and I love working with him whenever there's an opportunity to do something and we can put Chef
But who
there.
brought him on the record?
So I think Sampa was asking like, okay, who should we have? So I was only gonna pick from two rappers, either Tim, you know Tim, or you should go into that.
I don't know.
Listen to Sonda. Tim is. So Tim used to be part of a group called Zone Fam.
Oh,
you remember Zone?
I remember the
Zone
band.
Fam, right? Yeah. So Zone Fam with J-Rocks, yeah. So they were all a group, but Tim was one of them. Tim's, rapping. He's not your cousin.
He's awesome.
Don't play with Tim.
So the options were him or
so either
Chef?
Tim or Chef. So we decided to go for Chef. So
did you make recommendations? Like, how did it come about?
Yeah. I made a lot of recommendations. I mean, I think I was probably one of the first contacts musically for Sampa here. So so I mean, so everyone we're working with, because on the album, our engineer who was recording everything was actually Ben Blazer.
Okay.
So we were making the beats, but there was Ben Blazer. Then of course on the guitar there was Sammy Master, and then on the keys there was Sam Nyambe. So what had happened was the experience made Sampa say, hey, you know what, Sammy I want you to be part of the band, you know. Okay. And then I also later on introduced her to the other two guys, so Laz and Kasonde, who Laz is keyboards, but he's also a music director. So he became MD on Sampa's team. And then MDA music director.
Oh, sorry.
So he became.
I was doing it for the fans because they don't know. I need them to know. Yeah.
I see. So that happened, and then of course Kasonde, who's take one, became her drummer. So yeah, so I think that project really brought a connection with a lot of, you know, Zambian talents, and I'm just so glad that worked out like that, because it was good for, you know, of course, even as we're trying to do this Zamrock, for her to have actual Zambians play, then they keep the authenticity of it, you know. And then also just, I feel like it was really good for just everyone, because now these guys did 80 shows around the world, you know.
80 tours?
80 different shows, yeah. And this is around the world. I mean, like, they went to Brazil, they went to the entire US, UK, France, whatever, you know. They did all the big Coachellas and Glastonbury and all these different things. And I think that was such a huge opportunity, especially for Zambians. You know, it's like us guys never thought, you know, she really opened a lot of possibilities with regards to, okay, you know, you getting an email from Disney telling you, you know, they want this, that, and the third. And, you know, the guys...
Is that how that...
Yeah, they contact...
Black Panther happened?
Yes, they contact each one of us involved in the track directly. So it's that, I mean, just, I'm so glad that, you know, interaction during the album created so many opportunities. It created a whole movement which, you know, is starting to inspire people outside of us. But I still feel there's a lot more work that can be done to, you know, really bring Zamrock in front. And I honestly feel that it's the tool to exposing Zambia to the world, like on we really need to capitalize on it. Yeah.
I like it because I cringe sometimes when I want to hear Zambians want to sing in English. And I'm not, But Zamrock, rock music in general, has got a very different feel to it. So when I hear, I'm like,
Yeah. And I think, I mean, why, you know, earlier on we had talked about, you know, like, fine, you know, Tyler, the creator, is doing, you know, sampling Zamrock and putting Zamrock on the map like that. My trouble is that I feel like its identity can easily be, you know, absorbed into them. Yeah, it can be, and people won't attach it to us. So
because he hasn't necessarily explained the story.
And
someone will be like, he's so creative, damn, listen to that beat.
True.
It's ours.
I agree.
That's the problem.
So what needs to happen is like the way South Africa has done with their sound and Nigerians, right? When you hear Americans do that, you're like, oh, great. Yeah, Chris Brown, you're doing Amapiano, you're doing Afrobeat, but we all know where it came from. As in, it's not a... And yes, you know what I mean? Immediately, you know where it came from. And that's what needs to happen with Zamrock.
I had an issue with that because my thing was like... So I have my own personal music history. I love music, right? So all of this stuff that you're saying, I'm even before you. I remember the hip-hop scene, beatboxing, all of that, you know. So I've done recording studios. So when you were talking about it, I was like, oh my God, you're taking me way back.
All right, okay.
But
cool. I think we need to have another conversation.
That's another story. This is about you.
This is
about you. But you know, you kind of get. Oh, you guys have made me miss my point. I was so absorbed in myself there.
Sorry.
What did we say?
It's the musician outside.
Yeah, the musician outside is also.
Can you give her a record contract, please?
I don't know if I have enough paper.
No, let's give her hot chili. Give the woman hot chili.
Wait, what were we talking about?
So anyway, so you were saying that you remember your days back in the studio.
Yeah, before that, what was I trying to say?
The identity of the music being taken to, you know, like
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So this is my issue, right? I remember when Afrobeats came up, right?
Right.
And so for me, I vibe 100% with Afrobeats. Like
Right.
it is the music I like.
Right.
I grew up hip hop and then R&B. But then I got to a point where music was not doing anything for me. You know, for having been, I was one of those, no, you know, if you're going to support hip hop, you support this band.
Yes,
you know, that
yes, yes,
bullshit.
yes.
Like
Right,
you get
right,
into
right.
the gang warfare.
Right.
So I separated from music for a long time. But when Afrobeats came, I was like, boom, this is the next thing.
Right.
And I love the way that it has like gone beyond anyone's expectations.
Right, definitely.
But we have always looked to the Americans for music. And so when the Americans started doing Afrobeats, I was like, fuck off.
Yes.
This is not yours,
Yes,
it's
yes.
ours.
Yes.
And I think I didn't like, Janet Jackson did a track, you know,
Everybody's done
Chris
a track.
Brown did a track, and
Yes.
it's like, no, don't. But I kind of, it then validates it.
Right.
But it's already blown up big time.
Yes,
it didn't need validating.
It didn't need validation. Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And that's what I'm trying to avoid with the Zamrock, right? Like you're absolutely right in that when these guys started doing, of course yes, like you said, you're like, hey, don't do our music. But even when they do it, you know that okay, even they Americans know, oh, this is actually it had already blown up before they could.
No, you know what my thing is? R&B and hip hop are on a downward trend.
Right.
Other music scenes are coming up. So for the Americans to stay relevant, they've got to do this other music.
They have to mix
Right,
it.
right.
They have to
It
mix
wasn't
it.
because they respect this music.
But-
I mean, I'm not saying Chris Brown doesn't.
Yes.
But
I think Chris does.
I do think Chris does.
the other
Others,
ones, yes.
we're just taking
I
it.
think
Yes,
it was
yes.
good enough that it could not be ignored anymore.
True.
Right? And that's why you go to the club. Yesterday was Granddaddy's. What music were they playing? Predominantly.
I'm a
I'm a
piano.
piano.
Yes.
I'm sure.
Predominantly, you go out to a club, it's very hard to get a Western track being played. It's Afrobeats, Amapiano, and then obviously your Komoesu guys come in.
Yes.
These guys who did that Karindula thing. What's his name? The one who does Katwi. She's a good dancer as well, but he did a Kabemba song, Komoesu, and whatnot.
Chef.
No, the other guy. But it is really good.
Okay.
My point is, now when you go out, it's very hard to get Western music played in a club.
Right, yeah. Sure.
100%.
It's so difficult because they're like, yo, jam after jam.
Yeah.
They play a Nigerian one.
Yeah.
They'll play the Afro one. Next thing, piano.
When they put hip hop tracks, I'm like, I don't know who this is.
True.
Who was it? I was talking about this Gab C guy who came. I thought, who this? Because
Who's
it's,
that?
You know, not my world.
From
But
the
the
UK.
concert was full.
Yeah, but we know that.
You know?
You know when your young lady just says, Daddy, this one, I'm like, fishy. But I have a question for you too. Who's your favorite rapper? Favorite rap band? Rap band?
Rap band?
Yes.
Are they such a, as in like...
Yeah, they used to.
Group wako tena iwe.
Group, right?
Rap group. Just
Hip-hop
a group?
Yes. The one that-
Also not like one artist.
Even if it's an artist who's like this one, I'm gonna
Who's
call.
my favorite rapper?
Yes.
Hey. Yo.
Okay, I'll step in.
As in where? In the world or just
Yeah,
in
the
Zamrock?
world.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it has to be Salt and Pepper.
Okay.
Because I grew up on, I can start rapping right now
can
in the
relate.
Salt and Pepper.
Was MC
Right?
Light wasn't part of Sultan?
No, she wasn't. She was my other favorite.
Ah, I see.
I was like, oh my god, I'm so MC Light.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I did oh my gosh in a Kim
Oh my
Kardashian voice.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Yeah, but that's very old.
Salt and
I could
Pepper.
not now. These hip hops. I
You
like.
can't hear anyone.
What's that? I said what I said.
I don't know
Come
that.
on, Dale.
I don't know.
I said what I said.
But you know, the thing is, what's making this music popular now is Instagram and TikTok.
Right.
Not because I've heard the tracks.
Very
The
true.
way I was in the shops looking at CDs, that was my life.
Right. Yes.
Now you know,
You
it's
got your
like
Spotify. It's a bit crazy.
it's the trending
The industry has
feed
changed.
on
Yeah.
Instagram.
You can't narrow it down to a rapper.
Um.
You're a rapper, how can
Okay,
you
no,
not
but
know?
put it another way. Who would you like to work with?
Yeah, that is now even worse.
No, it's
Actually,
easy.
the one who
Because
pays.
It's easy.
Yes, actually. All right, yeah. No, but I think my favorite rapper at the moment would probably be. It's hard to pick, to be honest, because I think how I look at musicians, it's like I like a part of them. I don't like everything.
Magnus, you picked between that other guy and Sheffy. You picked Sheffy.
Because no, we just
pick
picked
a rapper
Sheffy
now.
because it was it was unanimous. But I mean, it wasn't like up to me alone. But
So you're like, okay, they want him, but
yes, no. As in, for me, both of them are like, oh, these are both strong, right?
But then the outcome is more probably what's relevant
You got
in that
also
sense.
as well, yeah.
Because once you've worked with them, you've created something together.
Right.
So okay, maybe carry on.
Okay,
I don't want to influence your
he's
answer.
failed to answer that question. So answer the second question. Who would you like to? The one she asked.
No,
who would you like to collaborate with?
Man, that is worse. I would rather answer the first question. Okay, so the first question, I think I would say Kendrick Lamar is the guy I like right now. Yeah, he's amazing.
Happy.
Yeah, Kendrick Lamar.
That's your favorite rapper.
Yeah.
But the Kendrick thing at the moment, I have to say, and I'm now getting sidetracked altogether.
Right.
There is so much, like, I can only call it innuendo with Kendrick music.
Yes.
Did you hear when he said this? It meant this.
Yes.
Whereas
true.
when we were listening to it, it was the flow, it was the beat, and
Right.
and what he said. But now it's like,
Yes.
no, it's the underlying meaning
Yes,
that's
yes,
important.
yes.
And I'm like, is it though?
Yeah,
Is it?
But then who says that's what he meant?
No, but it's all explained.
because-
You watch the music video, no, the cranking is from this side of town,
Yes,
and you're
yes.
just like, what, is it that deep? Can't I just
Can't
like
you just
the
be a pop?
simplicity?
No.
You know?
It can't be that.
In a chef
That's what we
rapper, what he says is what it means.
Yeah, exactly. It's true.
Pampamina. You even know. Gonzerena.
Oh god.
Yeah.
No. True. I mean,
Kendrick.
I think with Kendrick, to be honest, I mean, it's just for me. Like, I think my all-time favorite rapper is probably Eminem, unfortunately.
Chapwa.
Get out.
Not
Get him
even
out of
at the
here.
Muzungu.
We have
as a
established.
Christian, unfortunately. Yeah, the guy can rap.
As a man of God.
But they all
Kendrick,
can,
at least
though.
Kendrick, I can say no. Sometimes he says Christian things. Or
So
whatever. But now with Eminem says, okay, Eminem changed. Eminem, guys, we can't.
He was in the wrong skin.
Not even Eminem changed rap.
Did he though?
He evolved.
100%. Guys,
produced.
white people would not be listening to rap.
But the black guy was behind his music.
care
No, it's true. But then the thing is, Eminem, without Eminem, rap would have just been. It wouldn't have been as big as it is.
I disagree with you
I
152%.
No. I don't know.
We are the pre-Eminem people.
Yeah, no,
right?
no. Think about this.
I know how big hip hop was.
Yes.
He mainstreamed to pop level. Now, when
Exactly.
you're a real, you see,
Yes.
now I'm getting angry.
Yes, no,
when
no,
you
let's
were
do
a
it,
real
let's do it.
hip hop fan,
This is
right?
good content.
It was not supposed to be mainstream. If it
Well-
went mainstream, we all got angry. No. The reason
it was
that
always supposed to be underground.
It was supposed to be underground. It was like only special people know.
Yes.
You buy the Source magazine. You buy the record. There were only small to my record shops
yes.
that had the 5 albums of their 1 million rock musics.
Yes.
And then you were like, oh my God, they've got this one album that I couldn't find anywhere else. That was the real fan. He just spread it and made it mainstream.
Enough, we've settled that the best rap group is Run DMC. But no, we're not arguing, we're moving forward. We're moving forward. As we close the conversation, Magnus, we're very happy that you came, but could you just close it by telling us where you'd like to see Zamrock going and Zambian music in general?
I mean, this like we've already discussed, people like different things, right? Not everyone is gonna gravitate to Zamrock just because I like it, right? But I think for the sake of the country and moving forward, I would like to see Zamrock be a genre that we adopt and say, okay, fine, let's all, as musicians in Zambia, let's have an element of Zamrock in our sound and let's push that, and push that to the rest of the world. So I think that would be
Can I ask a quick question?
Ask the
quick.
But he hasn't finished answering.
No, but on his point, as a producer, isn't that actually a producer's action to be like, I slipped this one in?
We
That
did
sounds so
actually.
wrong.
What I hear what you're saying, and that's exactly when we did the Black Panther thing. Actually, before the Black Panther thing, I made a WhatsApp group with all of Zambia's biggest producers, and in fact, everyone is in there, right? And we said, guys, and the purpose of creating that group was making a Zambia. The name of the group is actually called Inventing Zambian Beats, right?
Our own music.
Yes, inventing our own music, right? So now when we, in that group, we're discussing what can we do? What does that look like? You know, and we're talking about, okay, how do we fuse Zamrock in this sound? And, you know, the conversation was picking up, but, you know, at the end of the day, people are like, hey, we have to eat. Everyone's listening to Amapiano. Make Amapiano.
Still eat and be creative.
True. But it's and you see, because the thing is, creativity is very relative. Because you can say, okay, fine, if I'm being creative, trying to make this Zamrock sound, but people don't want to dance to it in the club, then what's the point? You know, I would rather I do something that everyone. So I'm like, now at this stage, I'm like, okay, guys, how do we make that thing people want to dance to in the club, but add Zamrock to it? You see what I mean? Yeah, so that we say, okay, fine, that's now ours. Just by doing that, it has made it ours.
And it's also not even the Zamrock era, it's now your era.
It's now, yes,
you know?
yes. It's
what
now
is
our
your
story.
eras, your producers? What are you?
Right.
Who are you?
Yes. So, you know, so those are all conversations we've been having, and for me, it's like, okay, my hope is that, you know, we take this seriously and actually do something about it, because the world will do it for us, you know, and 100%. we won't have any stake. We'll be left behind of something that
they've started already.
Yeah,
I agree. 100%.
Yeah, true. I like how you said 100% at the same time.
Sharon Harmony.
She's a problem.
I said problem.
She's a problem in this one. But look, we won't stop talking. The subject is so interesting. There's a lot we've left out.
Yeah.
We are glad that you came, and we're hoping that when Sampa is in the country, you can connect her to us.
For sure.
We have a nice conversation with her.
Man on the spot.
Exactly.
Oh,
and also me, I'll just agree like I'll do it.
For sure.
Yeah, of course.
Hell no.
Hell no. You know how she'll come? He'll bring her. Today. He will come and, are you guys recording today? Who you?
Oh, yeah. For me, any guest there, we can put
Madam, Sampa, come sit down.
You might go and fry some eggs. First, Turande gonna Sampa. No, we are ready to ditch whichever guest we're gonna have.
Lishma first lady. I had to go and fry some eggs. Sampa, sit down.
I think Karimasa will come my eggs.
My don't have a pan here, so you know that kind of thing. But our conversation won't end. It's been lovely, and it was a very nice conversation.
It was really good. I
so,
really enjoyed it.
Do you want him to sign us out, or
He signed us in? He can
sign us out.
Okay. From me, Chanda Mwiko, Zed101 Podcast, A plus, and from you?
Hasta luego.
Hasta who?
Pronto.
Hasta pronto. Okay. Magnus, shut it down.
As for me, Magg44, you've been watching the Zed101 Podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode, even if I won't be there. But it's gonna be a turn up. See you soon.
Peace.
Out.